Just because the pros do it doesn't mean that it's going to be effective in any capacity. A couple questions I got. Number one is, how do I train like the elites? So let's define the elites. I assume that we're talking about some higher end college athletes, Division I, or the pros or the Olympians. So for the sake of this conversation, when we're referring to elites, we're going to refer to professionals in any given sport. So how do I train like the pros? Is you don't. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make. First and foremost, I think we have to understand that just because they're a professional athlete doesn't mean that they're educated in exercise. And so we have degrees and higher levels of education in the exercise science fields and kinesiology fields, etc., where these pros are getting advice from an outside source. And so when you look at a professional athlete who is showing you their routine or what they're doing, just because they're a professional doesn't mean that what they're doing on their own for strength and conditioning actually has any merit. I'm not taking away at all of their ability and what they do on the field or the court or wherever it is that they're competing in, but we have to be able to separate someone's ability to perform extremely well and their ability to actually know what they're doing inside a gym. We also have to understand is that these professional athletes have been professional athletes for, or high-end elite athletes for many, many, many years. And that starts to add up, and it allows them to compete at a very high level. So give a couple examples. We had a woman on our national team, our Olympic national soccer team, who a couple years ago was interviewed by either ESPN or SportsCenter or one of those big organizations, and they asked her what her training was like. And she said that she has completely stopped doing any type of weight-bearing exercises, and the only thing that she does to stay in shape and to stay at the pinnacle of performance for her on-field stuff is just body weight exercises. And of course, this swept the industry, and everyone wanted to start abandoning their weights and just do air squats and push-ups and sit-ups and whatever it is that she was advocating for. And what we have to understand is that she was getting older, and she was probably in her mid-30s, if not early 40s. And that's old for a professional athlete. And so as you get older, your body wears down more, and she needs less of the extra stuff. We also have to look at of how many years prior to that was she lifting with any type of weight. And so just because she's performing well now, if we look in that isolated however long she was leading up to whatever sporting event she was doing, we say, okay, she's abandoned all of her weights and now she's just doing body weight stuff and she's at the peak of her performance. What we're neglecting is what did she do over the last 10, 15, 20 years, her entire life, to build up to get that strength, and now she's sort of just maintaining it as she finishes out her career. Just because someone is a professional does not mean that they are getting the best strength and conditioning or the best workout routines. We have to understand that even those at higher levels of coaching doesn't mean that they're any more educated than a coach in the private sector or who's coaching at the high school or the collegiate level. So just because the pros do it doesn't mean that it's going to be effective in any capacity, right? Never underestimate how genetically advanced these people are. Never underestimate the amount of years they put in of practice. Never underestimate how hard they work on the field or on the court. And strength and conditioning, as you get up to that level, my opinion would be is it gets less and less important. We're looking at the top 1% of the 1% all competing against each other. Their main job when it comes to strength and conditioning at that point is to allow themselves to stay on the field or stay on the court. They're doing the things that they can to go and play, to make the millions. That's their number one goal. So if you want to train like the elites, the first thing you do is don't train like the elites.